Get this party started. I got a lot to say. Gonna be off the air for 8, 9, 10 days. God only knows. Welcome to the Hummel Show. What a great name for a show. I quite like it. 813-90 Bubba, if you would like to call in and contribute to the conversation. I'd love to have you. Maybe. I don't know. Depends on who calls in, what we discuss. The chaotic few days, of course. We had the hurricane. Just want to apologize for my absence. I felt really bad about it, but I felt less bad because I tried. You know, it's not for lack of trying. I set my alarm early yesterday morning because I knew I was going to have to take the long way to work. And I really thought I was going to beat the storms. I really thought that I could outmuscle the elements with my wit and good planning and my great driving. And unfortunately, I could not. I was stopped at a barricade. And I saw the water seeping in, and then you just start to kind of juggle. You go, well, would I rather, Bubba be mad at me, which he wouldn't have been, but, just you want to show your dedication to the team. I feel like a lot of the social credit score around here is predicated on your dedication to the team. Lummy shows this often. I feel like I do. Dan does. Jay does. Red. Everybody. Macho. You want to just show how much you care and how much you want to please the master. So one of the last things you want to do is not please the master. And sometimes, at least in this business, one of the greatest fears I have and most radio people have, or most, I don't want to say most people, but especially here, it's not like there's tenure here where no one's contracted. It's just kind of like, I like you until I don't like you, until get away from me, until that happens. So one of the worst fears I have is that, your absence isn't felt. Things went just as smoothly. People didn't really notice you were gone. We could do it just fine without you. That is something nobody wants to hear. So I tried my best. But as I saw that water seeping in, and I posted the video on Instagram so that everyone could see that I wasn't lying, that it's not for lack of trying, that I really did want to be here. And it's extra fun at work when shit's going down. I don't know. It is more fun. I remember when I was at the Bone and I was able to make it there during Irma and did like 8 hours. I think I was doing phones for Drew and people are calling in. Boots on the ground style, saying that this gas station's open and that gas station is open. And it's just a more exciting time, especially for people who like weather stuff. I happen to know one quite well where much like the call to prayer is like 5 times a day. It was every 3 hours with the spaghetti models. It was like, new report's up. So we were watching the storm closely, but then as I saw that the storm was moving west and north and wasn't going to be a massive issue for Tampa Bay, I really stopped paying attention. Not gonna lie to you. I was just like, all right, well, we'll be fine, I guess, and didn't really pay attention to it. I assumed the Courtney Campbell, for those that are local, it's a big bridge/causeway that connects Pinellas to Hillsborough County. And I assumed that was closed. My sources told me. And so, yeah, I tried to take the long way to work, thought I could outmuscle the elements, outsmart the elements. And the elements won, much like they won in Denver last time I was there for my birthday last year. And thought that I was warned about this altitude sickness people speak of. And I just thought that I'm like, please, I intermittent fast. I can outmuscle anything. I was wrong. Got real sick. Not real sick, but sick enough to not have a great time. So seeing as how that's not an option this time because I have a weekend of events, which sounds hoity-toity, but it's not. I barely made the guest list cut. Barely. And you know this when you don't get a +1. And I know I've talked about this before. It is odd. And every time I bring it up to a new person, the reaction is very much the same. It's, what the fuck? And then it makes me question my friendship and relationship to the person who invited me to the wedding in the first place. And at first I would excuse it because I know what it's like to be frivolous. Not frivolous, frugal, excuse me. I know what it's like to be frugal and on a budget. And I understand that sort of thing. But also I don't. Because when I talk to the people, they go, geez, like your friend sucks. And then it makes me not want to go to the wedding at all because I'm like, man, I guess I don't really matter to this person that they didn't even offer up a +1. They didn't even offer it up. I don't know. Again, it's one of those things where the last few weddings I've been invited to and didn't get a +1. To be honest with you, I was a little bit surprised I even got invited to the wedding at all. It was one of those. We were best friends at one time, but we haven't spoken in several years. But when I think about my life and I think about the highlights of my life, you were a part of it. That's what that invitation says to me. It doesn't say you're my best friend and we hang out all the time or even update each other on each other's lives very frequently. It says when I look back at my life, at my most fun and drunkest moments, you were there. And I want you to be there for this drunk moment. And that's why I always accept. I love weddings. I think they are a massive waste of money, a massive waste of everyone's, I don't want to say a waste of time because I am going to this. It's a massive waste of time on the person planning, and that's not getting paid for it. If you're a wedding planner and that's your job, obviously it's not a waste of time. That's your bread and butter. But for those that are planning and, I don't know, I feel like I worry about enough dumb shit that for me to worry about more dumb shit like a centerpiece or the color of napkins would drive me crazy because it seems like the details for the day are endless. Everything from, where it is, what you're eating, what the centerpiece is, the tablecloths, what is this person wearing, what is that person wearing, what color is the bow tie, does it match the bridesmaids, all that sort of shit. Oh, John Costica with a 1999. Thank you. Making money for the big man in the operation. I appreciate you very much. So, leaving for Denver in a few hours. Very excited. It just seems like so much is going on between the storm and the wedding and the packing and the preparing and then being off of work for a week, which I know this sounds insane, but like I miss this shit. The only thing that's great about being off from here is just I don't have to wake up as early. That's literally it. Everything else I love. Like I would love this to be a part of my daily routine all the time. I don't even think of it as work oftentimes. The only part that's is waking up at, 5 a.m. and leaving at 5:15. That's why, I can't, I'm not willing to do the full, face and makeup and get ready. I get ready in the dark. I have a little nightlight deal and I prepare my clothes for from the day before. So I'm, eyes just half shut, half open, stumbling around in the bathroom trying to get ready. So that's the only problem with this job is the time. But if it were other than that, it's the best. It's so much fun. You go, you talk shit, and you have a good time with your pals, with your buds, talking about some stuff that you find interesting, unless it's sports. 813-90-BUBBA. I feel like I can't even learn sports even if I wanted to. Like my brain it repels it like oil and water. When I start hearing them talk about sports, for me, it's very much like a Charlie Brown teacher. Like, how the fuck do you remember so much about things that I find horribly uninteresting? It is impressive where it's just like these people, not just these people, Lummy and Rhett know a lot about sports and other things, but some people don't know anything about anything. And then all of a sudden sports comes around and they just know where a player went to the record and the stats and where they went to school and who they married and where they lived. And it's just like, wow, that is a lot, in my mind, of useless information to keep stored upstairs. But, it brings a lot of joy to a lot of people. So I can't take that away from them. Okay. It brings people happiness. It brings people joy. And I'm not here to be a thief of joy. Okay. Maybe a little bit. But yeah. And I understand that a lot of my interests people find horribly uninteresting. Like my fascination with just the want and desire to not just live as long as I can, but to live as long as I can and not be shitting myself and be of sound mind. Like I'm always trying to biohack. And Netflix heard my calls and my prayers, and they answered the Bubba Light $9.99 on the super chat. God bless. Appreciate you. Yeah, there's a new Netflix series, and I didn't even bring it up on the show today because, I know these people, they don't give a fuck. The people I feel like that listen to the show, the majority of them, they just want to enjoy themselves, and I get it. I understand not everyone is hooked on this desire to live as long as possible and be healthy for as long as possible. But I find it so empowering. They talk about female empowerment. That means nothing to me. Empowerment to me is being able to control aspects of your life that really do affect the outcome, by incredible margins. So I started the series. I think it's called Live to 100, the Blue Zones, and it's this guy who apparently has biked across 5 different continents, and he's seen a lot of parts of the world. And the next thing he wants to tackle is, of course, longevity, cracking the code of senescence, how to prevent it from happening, or if not prevent it, you can't prevent it, but at least you can slow its roll and try to dial in certain aspects of your life so that you live not only just a longer life, because that's only half of the equation is living longer. I don't want to live longer in a vegetative state or, a highly immobile state. I want to live as long as possible and keep my marbles and keep my chickens, and what's the other one? My mentals and my chickens. That's what I want. And I like also the fact that a lot of these things that you can do are free. I think that's really what gets me, is that it's shit that doesn't cost no money or no more money. Obviously, food costs money, but there are ways to eat healthily for a low cost. You don't have to have the crazy organic ice and the acai bowl. You don't have to do all that shit. There's ways to work around it. And I just love it. I love learning about it. And I think I also love learning about it because it's an echo chamber for me, because I'm already doing it. It's very much how people view politics. I don't really get off on politics as much anymore because it's just, like me watching Fox News and agreeing with someone there. I'm not like, yeah, fuck yeah. I'm just like, yeah, whatever. You're placating to your constituents, and I may happen to agree. But, just on a coincidence, I agree with you on some issue, but it doesn't really get me off. Longevity gets me off. Talking about longevity, health, fitness, nutrition, that shit gets me off. That's my echo chamber. I've realized when people start talking about how good intermittent fasting is, I'm like, fuck yeah, that's right, because that's how I've constructed my life, is all around this shit. Because I don't know, for me, it's fun. I like to view my body as an experiment. And before I start preaching the gospel and telling people how to live their lives, at first I will do the experiment on myself. Yes, it's a sample of one, but I think it's a pretty good one. And it's easy for me to kind of take note of all the changes that are happening, right? It's not like I have to take time and interview someone. How do you feel? It's easy for me to just check in and go, I feel better. I'm doing good. I feel less bloated. I'm losing fat, whatever. And this is probably the first time I've said this out loud, which I am a little bit hesitant to do. And I don't know if I can knock on any wood, if anything's made of wood. It just seems like it's made of, I don't know. I feel like I'm in a tin can. But since I started intermittent fasting in June of 2021, I have not gotten sick. Not one time. I usually get knocking on wood, all the wood. And I'm not saying, again, this is a loose correlation. Not saying that there's any causation involved, but I usually get sick once or twice a year where it's like feeling like shit a few days. Usually in a typical time, usually around Christmas, Thanksgiving, I usually come down with something at least once a year. And nothing. Well, did I get COVID? When did I get COVID? No, I got COVID before. I got COVID in April of 21. So it was before I started intermittent fasting. So I'm good. I'm good. And sometimes you just does anyone else ever want to get sick sometimes? Not like cancer sick, please, but like where your body needs a break and you're like, fuck, I wish I just had a legitimate excuse to be contagious so that I like could just relax for a second. You know, maybe you're not sleeping all that great and I don't know if people are like me where they get down on themselves if they don't feel like they've been productive enough. You're like, you maybe reflect back on the day when you're in bed and you go, what the fuck? Why was I on social media for an hour when I could have been reading about, Operation Ivy Bells? Like I could have been learning stuff about human relations or about mitochondrial uncoupling, which I'm kind of getting into again, polyphenols I like, history, Roman Empire. Got lots of interest. But no, I was watching goddamn cat videos. And I don't even like cats. So why am I watching them? Ow!
Ow! Ow! I was on you close.
I was so in the zone. I did not even.
You were in the zone.
I was so in the zone.
Listen to me. You hold the microphone like a cock.
Well, this is what happens. It's floppy cock. It will not stay, man.
Hold on.
Trust me, I've tried to twist it and tighten it. It doesn't fucking work. See? Now you want me to talk like this? Because this probably is a worse look.
Hold on.
How does it work for you? Do you rest it on this? By the way, Bub, I'm sure you're watching,
How
but
much did
Bub
I
is
scare you?
like so bad.
Like I was this close to you.
I know.
So zoned out.
I was so zoned out.
I was right here. I was literally right here.
I probably even could have fucking seen you in the screen, but I didn't.
You didn't get me until I came a little to the side,
and then it fucked with my peripheral. That scared the shit out. Am I live on Locals or something?
You're live on Twitter. Is
Oh.
that why you're trying to show the guns?
Yeah. Well, I'm also sweating now because the cortisol is rising. So I'm sweaty.
Oh, give me the Diz.
Oh, yeah.
There.
It's pretty good.
So
I also look really
you want
lean.
me to have Macho Man come
Not right now.
tighten that up?
Well, how does it work for you, though? Because for me, look, every time.
Macho.
He doesn't have to do right now.
We're going to fix it because
Live on
we've
the
been
air?
watching you grip the mic like a dick.
Well, all right.
I mean, you got some good gripping skills, so you get that hand over like this.
Well, I kind of had to. It just falls. I didn't mind holding it.
Macho. We didn't come in to try to disrupt.
Oh, yeah.
We just mitochondria.
I didn't want to disrupt you, but I did have a camera in your face.
So close. I mean,
That was scary.
Do
you want to just do the show with me?
No.
Why not?
There you go.
Thank you.
Temporary.
Oh, that was easy.
See, look at that.
That's so much better. Thank you, Mach.
Like this. You don't have to go.
I know. And I just, you know what I do? I rest my
And
finger
it
right
changes
here.
The dynamic of the mic, it muffles the mic because the mic can't breathe as much, so your voice sounds muddy. That's why I came in and fixed it.
Oh, thank you. That sounds much better. Thank you. Do you want to get on a mic? You're just going to stand there the rest of the show?
No, I'm
Oh, what the fuck? I don't know if I can do that.
Vacation, okay? And the merch crick's taking you to the airport.
Yeah, God bless her. Thank you. And thank you for the blanket.
Did you like it?
I really do. I love throw a blanket. I love cozy things.
I'm live on Twitter, but I better tell all these people to go see you now, okay?
Thank you. Thank you.
Your mic is
It's so much better. Thank you much. Thank you. God bless. Have fun in Indiana. Motherfucker. Well, let's just take a call. I don't even know how to get back into regular programming here. Hello, who's this?
Hey, Anna, Nash One here.
Nash One, what is going on? Also, before I do, did I see Brian from Philly $20? Super chat. Thank you very much. Nash One, what's going on?
How's it going?
Good.
Hey, you had me laughing today. You said you don't get into sports, but you were at the end of that, the conversation about their interview with Sterling Sharp. you started chiming in. Oh yeah, that guy that caught the ball. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny because sometimes they do, like, they'll be like, "Anna, shut the fuck up," but sometimes they don't. They'll just be like, "Oh yeah, they got the ball." Like, I'm like, "What the fuck?"
That was super funny.
Oh, thanks you
for making me laugh.
I hear you're this is I'm talking to Justin, right?
Correct. Yeah. Yep.
Okay, because I don't know who is, if you both consider yourself to be Nash 1 or you're older, right? By a minute?
1 minute older. Yeah.
Okay,
correct.
so I guess that you're denoted as Nash 1. Now, I heard that you, Bubba said that you look, quote, hot and sexy. I think those were the words that he used. He said he saw you recently and that you looked hot and sexy.
We're up there every race, no matter what, for sure. So,
yeah.
But yeah, no, I've definitely dropped about 45.
Since wow. Because you look great at the Tarpons game when I saw you, and Bubba said you've dialed it in even more.
Yeah, definitely.
Good for you, man.
So, but just want to say, hey, hope you have a great vacation.
Thank you. I'm excited about it. I appreciate it, and I'm proud of you. Great job. I can't wait to see you whenever I see you next. Probably the next Bubba 199.
Yeah, me and Jim are going to try to make plans for sure to come down there.
Beautiful. I'd love to see both of you.
Right on.
Awesome. Thank you for calling in.
Thank you, Anna.
All right. Bye. 813-90 Bubba. Health. Longevity. Who gives a fuck? Let's take calls. Hello, who's this?
Hey, Tampa Terry calling in from Muscle Beach, Nova Scotia, Canada.
What's up, Tampa Terry? How can I help you?
Bro, I want to ask you a question, bro.
Yes, bro.
So, you're a vegan, right?
Wrong again. I'm a vegetarian. So nothing with a face or an asshole. No fish, some people ask. No mollusks. Nothing, no critters of the sea, land, or amphibians.
Okay.
Yeah.
Except for eels, bro. But hey, I want to ask you this, bro.
I hate you.
I want to ask you this. How do you get protein after exercising to recover, bro? If you are not eating meat, if you are not eating creatures that have stomachs that digest their food, that have protein dense meat, bro, how are you recovering after exercise?
Sorry, I'm still a little sweaty from the ambush incident. Well, protein is just a macronutrient and can be found in many foods, not just muscle tissue, fibers, or fish or chickens or anything like that. Now, here's the thing. I will tell you that being a vegetarian, not eating meat, you do not get the full protein profile of amino acids. You do not. I wouldn't even argue that it's a more healthy way to live your life, being a vegetarian. That's not even the argument that I'm making. I do think that there is a place for meat, especially like hunted meat, where animals aren't factory farmed and stuffed full of antibiotics and steroids. But it's the way that I choose to live my life. I find meat to be repulsive and gross, and I don't want to eat it. Much like you have foods, I'm sure, that gross you out, that you don't like the taste of, or you don't like them because of the idea, or whatever it may be. So I'm not suggesting that being a vegetarian is often the healthier way to be. I think being more plant-based as possible is probably your best bet. Am I missing out on some significant amino acids by not having meat? Yeah. Yes, I am. Can I name them? No. I don't know. I don't know that deep into the science. But you can get protein from other food sources. So I eat a lot of yogurt. I eat a lot of eggs. I have tofu, nuts. Is that good?
Okay, so bro, you do eat eggs.
Yeah, I never said I was a vegan. I don't understand how. I mean, you seem to be a pretty clever man. Why is this so hard for so many people to understand the difference between a vegetarian and a vegan? It seems to be lost on just about everyone.
An egg is like the veal of chickens. It's like a baby chicken, so I would think that would fall. Not
yeah,
be,
well, it's not.
A part of your regimen.
It's a unfertilized egg. I don't eat fertilized egg because then it would be an embryo, and I don't eat embryo chickens. It's more of just like an egg that was in an ovary that came out. That's pretty much what an egg is.
Right. So, bro, here's the deal.
Yeah.
Eggs are basically, I mean, we can probably agree on this, that eggs are basically one of maybe nature's perfect food in terms of nutrients.
I agree.
But, bro, there's a lot of the egg that people are not getting, bro. For example,
okay.
The shell, bro, is
actually really good for
nutrients,
composting.
calcium, and other nutrients.
But
and
you eat the shell?
Membrane.
Ew.
The eggshell membrane as well, the part between the shell and the egg, that's pure collagen. That's the secret to keeping good joints for the rest of your life.
Neil Mount Plaisir, 1999, my fasting coach on Hummel. Thank you on the super chat. God bless. Sorry, go on.
Eggshell membrane is how you preserve, protect, and repair your joints for the rest of your life, bro. So if you want to do, whatever stuff you're doing, jogging and badminton and whatever kind of stuff you do, bro,
Yeah.
the eggshell membrane is how you protect and restore your joints. So really, you can eat eggs raw. You can just put the entire raw egg in your mouth, crunch it down, swallow the liquid, and then chew the shell. And that you get all the
Is that what you do?
Profile that way. Yes, I do, and I'm not even a vegan. I'm just trying to get
you just eat it like an apple,
as I can,
like a Cadbury egg. You just with the foil on.
Yeah, it's like how a snake eats. They put the egg in their mouth, they crunch it and suck down the fluids, and then chew the rest.
Hey, I mean,
that's what you need to be doing.
Whatever,
bro.
dude.
I want to see you doing that. I want to see you doing that soon, bro. I think that'll really help you out. And, the eel thing was weird to me. I don't know.
Yeah, that was weird to me,
eels
too.
Aren't really animals.
That was weird to me,
Eels
too.
aren't really animals, though, bro. They
kind of are.
They're
snakes of the sea, not a sea steak. I keep looking over my shoulder because I am petrified Bubba's going to scare me again. It's a pretty fucking gross animal that I ate. It's a snake of the sea. It's disgusting, and I'm not happy about it. And again, like I mentioned on Monday, this is my Hogan sex tape. I don't think I will ever fully be able to mentally and physically recover because now the nutrients that were once in that eel are now in my body, and my body is utilizing them against my will, which I'm not happy about, but it is what it is. I consumed it. It's gone into my gut. It's been absorbed into my gut and my bloodstream. And I unfortunately, I can't rein it back in. I can't. And I don't know what to do. My father, when I called him, panicked, I asked him, what should I do, Father, as an older Jew and vegan? And I bring up the Jew thing because eels aren't kosher, so it's an extra sort of weird foreign food I ate. And my dad's a vegan, not a vegetarian. And I said, Father, what would you do? WWPD, what would Philip Hummel do? And he told me to, in his wise Socrates-like words, told me to, quote, let it go. And I said, no, I will not let it go. And then, he tried to persuade me otherwise. And I told him that the only thing that could make me feel better is if I try to bring this place down single-handedly. And I'm proud to announce that I have brought down their, 4.9 star rating to a 4.8. So that's all me, baby. I'm bringing this house down. Sorry, Tampa Terry. Anything else?
Well, I heard, that actually ever since you guys were talking about eels, there's a lot of interest in eels in the Bubba Army now.
Okay.
People are, trying eel for the first time. I heard, there's going to be a lot of eel deliveries to the studios there.
Yeah.
After vacation.
Really? Is that so?
Shout out to
fuck
Marcus
you.
Frog in the chat room, bro. Bubba Army Canada. Marcus Frog in the chat room, bro. Bubba Army Canada. Yeah, hey, everyone.
If you
send,
said an eel to the station, that's a hate crime. That is a fucking hate crime.
Bro, they could.
To me.
You guys could even farm eels in that lake in the back there and sell them.
They're vile creatures.
Because you just put two of them in there and they just multiply.
Yeah, that's what they do. They fuck each other and they multiply. They're disgusting, vile creatures. And I don't even know how to process why and how one ended up inside of me, okay? But it did, and it now will live there forever. And part of its DNA will be in my DNA, and I'm not happy about it. But at this point, Terry, there's nothing I can fucking do. So I'm trying to live through this.
Eels are kind of beneath like snakes and worms and stuff because they're slimy and they don't have a brain and they're just like these
I'm
weird.
Pretty sure they have a brain. Pretty sure they have a brain.
They just go on muscle memory. And
you said memory. I mean, it's got to be okay, whatever. I'm not going to argue about eel brains.
Muscle memory, brother. Muscle memory, brother. But anyway, I got to go. I'll see you later.
All right, bye. Way to ruin my day. Way to ruin my fucking day. Yeah, the eel thing. I had Naba, nice ass bad attitude. Jennifer, she just randomly started sending me facts about eel nutrition yesterday, trying to fuck with me, my mentals. Right when I am trying to move past this, and again, it's one of those things where I really don't know how to move past this. But I feel, and I'm sure there's some people out there that understand. A lot of people aren't picky eaters and they don't really give a fuck. And if something wasn't as they expected, it's like, it's not great, but it doesn't fuck with them emotionally, mentally. But someone who is as strict as I am, I mean, my body is a temple. I don't go to synagogue, but this is my temple. This is my synagogue. This is, I try to control as much as I can about what goes into this machine. And, I think if anybody in this building would understand, it's probably maybe Macho. Maybe. It seems like he's just trying to funnel it in because he wants to get bigger. His goals are different. But for me, like, this is a pristine temple, and I don't even really like going out to eat that much because I like to control all of the ingredients in all of my food to the best of my ability. I find vegetable oil vile. Okay, so you can only imagine the surprise and disdain and disgust I had when I realized I ate a fucking sea snake. Okay, and in my mind, I thought all eels electrocute to prey because I'm dumb. So I was like, did I just eat a fucking battery? Like, what the fuck? I just spit all over the board. Sorry, Bubba. Yeah, so it's messing with me. And then, all of my good friends, as good friends do, they like to bring it up, rehash it out, This is my Hogan sex tape, and I don't know how I'll be able to get over it. And it did help knowing that I wasn't accepting any of the things the owner was offering me. He tried to give me a free dessert. He gave me a free roll, whatever, but still made me pay for the eel one. Awesome. He also gave me some free green tea, I suppose. That was nice. But I wanted to make him as miserable as I was, and that is when you refuse someone who wants to help you make something better and you refuse their help, you're imposing a cost on them because they desperately want to feel better. They have this guilt and this shame. And if you accept their apology by accepting their help, you are alleviating some of that guilt and some of that, inner turmoil. But when you don't accept that help, even when they're begging you to take it, you are making them feel your angst. And that was my goal. I didn't want any help. I didn't want anything extra. Don't give me a free dessert. That will not make me happy. Get away from me. Maybe if he would have dragged the waitress out by her stupid hair and berated her publicly and fired her on the spot as she cried and said didn't know how she was going to feed her family the next day. Yeah, that would have made me feel a little bit better. That would have improved my mood. Not going to lie. Almost 100%. I probably would have been like, all right, well, I'll be back next week. Like, that would have been nice. Now, I'm not that person. I'm not going to call for people's heads, and I understand that a lot of times you have a loyalty to your employees. Not all the time, but often you feel the need to protect them because you know them personally, right? It's like Bubba can make fun of me and shit on me or Dan or whatever, but when someone calls in and they start shitting on me, the instinct is to protect. Like, this is one of our tribe's members here. We can make fun of her all we want, but when you come in as an outsider talking shit, that ain't cool. Much like when you talk shit about a family member, a sibling, or your parent, you can talk about your sister, but if your friend starts talking about your sister, well, then that is just not okay. It's the same sort of concept. So I knew that he was going to try to protect her, which made me angry, which is partially why I didn't accept his help. I would have liked, I like public humiliation. Like, that makes me feel better when someone does something, and there's very few occasions where something like this happens where I want so much back. I want so much pain inflicted on you emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, financially, everything. I want you to feel my pain. that I would have appreciated if she would have approached the table. Like if he would have like dragged her out from the kitchen where she was pretending to put things away. And if he would have dragged her out and tell her what happened. And she explains herself. She's apologetic, maybe even starts crying. And it's a public display. That would have made me feel better. Knowing like how embarrassed she was. I like that. Public humiliation is a good remedy for the pain that you've inflicted on other people. So just keep that in mind. Take some calls. People are really passionate about eels around here. Hello, who's this?
Hey, on it's South Tampa.
What's up, South Tampa?
You're going to Colorado Springs. Are you going to climb on the incline, the like 2,700 steps?
Is that a Pikes Peak deal? I feel like it's not.
It is. It's right by Pikes Peak.
Okay, we're doing Pikes Peak. We're getting the donuts. And then we're doing I always want to say Garden of the Galaxy. Garden of the Gods, right? That thing?
Yeah, Garden of the Gods.
Thank you.
But that incline is thick. I think you would like that.
It's like a mile up, I think, or something.
Yeah, it's like 2,700 steps, something like that. So
all right. Now keep in mind, I don't know how well I'm gonna be, how good I'm gonna be feeling, seeing as how I had suffered from altitude sickness before. So, isn't the top of Pikes Peak like, what is it, 14,000 something elevation? I might be fucked.
Well, that's nuts. You'll definitely.
Oh, that's a different attraction. Okay.
Yeah, that's a different attraction. It's but if you look up like Colorado Springs incline, it'll come up. You do have to make a reservation online, but I think that's just like probably Colorado being Colorado.
Okay.
Like,
are you from Colorado?
Please wear a mask. Me?
Yeah.
No.
I mean, I know you reside in South
Indiana.
Tampa now. Oh, gross. I mean, that's good. That's your Hoosier. That's great. It's fantastic.
I literally grew up like 15 minutes north of Warsaw. So,
do you have it at such an intense pride of where you grew up as Bubba does, or is that kind of unique to him?
I do love it. It was a great place to grow up. It was just idyllic. Like,
sure, Americana. I get it.
Rode your bike everywhere.
How old are you? If I may ask?
It was a small town.
How old are you?
How old am I?
Yeah,
I'm 44. Okay,
so like you experienced life before the iPad is what I'm saying, and rode your bike everywhere, and you're a Gen Xer. You had more freedoms. You probably didn't have helicopter parents. Yada yada.
No, I actually had, my parents were teachers, so I like went through life thinking that everybody's parents were off all summer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Which was sick. You didn't know it at the time, but you're like, hey, can we do this today? And they're like, sure. So that was definitely fun. But I mean, like, I have kids now, and I try not to put them in front of a pad at all.
Yeah. It's not good.
Tough.
There's no way that a kid, and again, I'm not hating, I'm not a parent, I know I'm going to get a lot of fucking flack because you're like, you don't have a kid, you don't know. You're right, I don't, but I do have a brain that works. I feel like there's no way for you to put an iPad in front of a toddler or a 3-year-old and then also expect them not to be addicted to their phones when they get one when they're 8 or 9 years old or whatever. Like, that's obviously going to happen if they're like from if their earliest memories are like, playing a game on an iPad. There's like no hope for them to not be addicted to technology when they get older. So.
Do you know what we watch? Like, I watched like on Amazon Kid or whatever, Amazon whatever the video. I watched the old Mr. Rogers from like the 70s and 80s, and they are unbelievably good. And they're not cartoons, and they're real, and it's just interesting how
good in what way? Like the lessons that you learned, or I kind of forget.
Great stuff. I mean,
was it just like basic arithmetic? Like what? Right? Was it that? I can't even really remember. Or was it like be a good friend?
Like,
Be good to your neighbor.
Being a good friend,
shit like that.
Being responsible. Like they also go out and like visit neighbors and like say like, oh, hey, this is how they make like graham crackers.
I see.
Like,
okay.
Like kids love that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, but if you watch the other stuff, it's like, you know, they go so far beyond of like what normal, at least in my world is, that, you know, it's like, I don't know, but like I just like watching the stuff. It reminds me, and they like watching it. So
good. Kind of takes you back.
Yeah. And I mean, we're very, very strict on screen time.
No, that's great.
They're going to get it other places too.
Yeah. No, they certainly will. I mean, they're going to have to they're going to have to coexist with technology in some capacity. You know, they're going to have a phone. It's just expected. If Bubba texts me and I go, and I'm like, I didn't get it. He's like, what the fuck? You know, I can't just be like, well, I decided to go into a dopamine detox for a few days, so I just threw my phone out the fucking window. You know, I'm fired. I have to be in contact with people. But it is also, it's hard because then you have to, if you have it in front of you, now you have to exert some sort of self-control, which is hard, right? So it'd be much easier if we just all threw our phones out the window and then, you know, we don't have them anymore. The first few days might feel a little itchy, but after that we get used to it. But if we have it in front of us, to not look at it all the time, it takes a lot of willpower. And I think that's really where people get into the struggle, is that they have to kind of, they have to what's what I'm looking for? Just they have to exhibit self-control and self-discipline, which a lot of people don't have, including myself.
Yeah, I don't either.
Self-monitor.
One of the greatest sporting events I think in the world is the Masters, the golf tournament in Augusta, Georgia. You're not allowed to bring a phone in there.
Oh.
So literally, it's like you're going to the dark side of the moon. It's absolutely. But guess what? Everybody's in a good mood. Nobody's like standing around trying to get a selfie. Like it's so old school, and it's incredible.
So
you kind of
do they just tell you to like leave it in your in the car, or is it like are there lockers, or do you put it in a locked little box and you carry the box around, or?
You can get a pass, I think, if you're like a doctor or something and had to have one. But usually, if a phone rings, you were kicked out, you're gone. You're done.
Oh, I see. It's the disturbance element.
And then the people who gave you the tickets also are probably losing their lifetime passes.
Wow.
So it's just not worth it. They have banks and banks of phones. You can make long distance phone calls to wherever you want. They're all in the same color of green, so you don't even notice them like on television. But like if you need to call or check in, you can do it.
Yeah.
But it's just such a cool atmosphere because people are. I mean, the first time I went, I was like at a McDonald's outside of Augusta, Georgia, and there were 4 guys with gray hair sitting together at a booth at McDonald's. When have you ever seen that? Right? Like they were like little kids eating. Like they were just.
Yeah, no, it's sweet when you see those moments. And it is funny because, like, you hear people talk about all the time, oh, I went camping and there was no service and it was just so nice to go off the grid. It's like, dude, you could do that every fucking day. I mean, within reason, right? You have to maybe check your emails and get your work done, but you could easily put the phone down after that, but you choose not to. Even though you know that it would make you feel better if you got outside and did something where you weren't staring at a fucking screen. But and I'm not. This is also a self-criticism as well, because they've hacked into a part of our brains that's just very thirsty for, you know, more dopamine, more action, the next picture, the next video. And unfortunately, they hacked into that part of our brain, and we're all addicted. You know, and it used to be like, oh, it's a kid thing. No, it's not. I mean, I remember I would, or still do, but I used to go to a gym where there were a lot more old people, and they would just sit on the machines on their phone, you know, and I would see it with the 18-year-old, and I would see it with the 80-year-old. Everybody has this issue. Now, maybe the 18-year-old is on Snapchat and the 80-year-old is clearly on Facebook, but nevertheless, it's the same thing that they're tapping into, which is this, you know, you want to click, you want a notification, you want to be kind of spying on somebody, you know. Ooh, what's so-and-so up to? Ooh, they got married. Ooh, they're pregnant. Ooh, they lost the baby. Ooh, they died. You know, all that sort of stuff. People are very interested in each other's lives, and they really want other people to be interested in their lives. So, unfortunately, Silicon Valley and the powers that be have hacked into this part of our brain where it is incredibly difficult to put that shit down. And I find this for myself as well as pretty much everybody I know. Everyone is addicted to their phone. anybody you talk to says they spend too much time on their phone. It's crazy because it's like you have the opioid crisis and you got people on fentanyl and you got gambling and people who are addicted to alcohol, and everyone recognizes that those things are problems, but nobody recognizes that being addicted to technology is a problem. And it is. It's melting
Technology
our
and
brains.
sugar.
Yes.
Like
yes,
those
sir.
two things.
Yes, sir. All right, we got a lot of calls, buddy.
Hey, I got to get back to dopamining on my phone. Damn it.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for the Colorado shit. All right. Have a good one. Bye-bye. Hello. A few more calls, then I got to go because Bubba's coming back. Hello. Who's this?
On a Hummel, Joe the Supermarket.
What's up, Joe? I know I couldn't go a week without talking to you. What's going on?
Yeah, of course. I've been with you since day one, since your first On a Hummel show.
Your P1.
I've been with you every single one.
God bless you.
So I want to say, first off, I wasn't expecting to say this, but, it happened, so now I have to say it. Your self-defense mechanism when Bubba attacked from behind was just out of this world. You'll have to watch it back and see for yourself. Like, you went into this stance where you were ready. Most girls would just swing and hit. That's what girls do to guys normally. But
I got into butterfly guard.
Yeah, and your discipline was phenomenal. And instead of hitting him back, you practice restraint, but then you grabbed his wrist so he couldn't do nothing else. Yeah, and I want to give you props for that because that was amazing.
Thank you. It did take a lot of restraint in that brief moment after the initial scare. I really wanted to hit him. Like that was my instinct. Was like I just want to punch you.
Oh, I know.
But I instead grabbed his wrist and then started applying pressure harder and harder and harder until he was even like, "Ow, that kind of hurts."
Yeah, it hurt.
Yeah, it hurt. It hurt me. Yeah, I don't know if anybody else is like this. I'm sure they are. But when you get that jolt of adrenaline that quickly, it's very uncomfortable. Like it makes my heart sick. I don't even know how else to describe it. Or it makes you feel ill. You don't feel good when you get that scare, and then it takes you a while to kind of come back to normal because all of your what is it? Your parasympathetic, sympathetic. I always forget which is which. But it takes it a while to come back to baseline because you've been so jolted by the surprise. Anyways,
some people like that. Some people thrive off of that. But the reason why I was calling initially was because I had to ask you a question. And I don't know how you're going to take the question, but I'm still curious.
Probably not well.
If you had to go back through this week, and this has been an eventful week, even though it's a short week.
Yes, eels, storms, Denver, yes.
What do you think the highest high spot, just show-wise, not in your life, but if you had to reflect over this week, if you could think of one time where you just felt so awesome because you felt like it was just the greatest thing, whatever you said it or Dr. Dan said it or Bubba.
Oh, like something someone said or like an event?
Yeah, just anything, whether it was a segment, whether it was a song, whether it was a second, whether it was a caller, whether it was anything. You pick it. Something where you said, this, man, I feel good. I feel like this is the place to be. This is just phenomenal. And I'll tell you mine.
It's hard because, we do the show every day, so it's hard for me to remember, like, was this last week? Was this 2 weeks ago? Was this yesterday? Any time I'm on the air and I'm genuinely laughing, and you guys always, you can tell when someone's genuinely laughing. Or even when I'm not genuinely laughing, I'm just kind of like laughing at someone's joke that was like pretty funny. I'm in a great mood. Like it is hard to be sad and mad when you can't even catch your breath because you're laughing so hard. So, anything like that. Talking to Alex Stein was cool. Talking to the photographer was cool. Even when I missed the show yesterday, just the excitement of like trying to get here and then talking on the phone as I'm getting lost because I don't know where I'm going or what I'm doing and I'm half awake and I'm trying to text people.
I saw you in the chat. That was awesome.
Got home and then I popped in the chat. I watched probably about 3 hours of the show. It was great. Well, it wasn't that good. Come on, right? It wasn't there.
Well, the last segment I could have gone without the last segment. I would have much rather had a 30-minute on a Hummel phone call at the end of the show too, just to wrap up things and let us know what you're wearing, what you're eating, what's going on over there. But
yeah.
I'll give you my favorite segment since you can't come up with one and you're all over the road. My favorite little spot, my favorite little thing that it could be the greatest thing of the year, and we've had a hell of a year, was on the Twitch Tuesday. when you did your Bubba impersonation and you absolutely nailed it over and over and over again. I mean, you had people in chat saying nice things for once. I mean, everybody was giving you props. I let my mother know right away, like, yo, you need to hear this. She put it on right away. She was dying laughing in her room.
Oh, wow.
So
I don't even remember what it was about.
Nailed it.
Was it about, I think it was
you were
blood
so
work.
real. You were talking, you were doing Bubba voice, and you were talking about that. You were going in on the sex tape, and you were going in on all the realisms and the real deal, and how he won't let it go, and just oh my God, yo, it was just, and then you just kept going and going and going. You even had him popping, but for some reason, Lummy wasn't really laughing.
Huh? Are you suggesting that he doesn't like me, or he doesn't find me funny, or?
No, not at all. No. I'm not suggesting anything. I'm suggesting maybe he was busy, whether he was doing something else, but he could have been, golly knows, he's such a busy guy. He wears so many hats.
He does, and he has 18 screens in front of him at all times, directing traffic to dealing with the Bubba Army, to talking to Mach, talking to Rhett, getting clips, doing best ofs, talking to the ghosts. He does it all. He really does it all. So, we'll give him a pass there.
And that brings up another question. I didn't even intend to ask you this question, but you know how Bubba says Lummy's over and he's a chat god, and we see the love he gets in the chat, and we see the hate you get in the chat. But yesterday when you went through the chat, you saw what it was to actually feel a little bit of love, didn't you? You got a little good morning here, good morning there. We miss you,
Joe. It's a little sad when you get into the chat and maybe they're saying good things about you because they're happy you're not there. Saw a little bit of that. I saw a little bit like, wow, this is so amazing that Anna is not here because we fucking hate that bitch. I saw a little bit of that. And to be honest, sometimes it stings. It depends on the day and depends on what is said. And I wish I could say that, it doesn't affect me at all. It clearly does. Obviously, you guys have seen me completely become unhinged at some points when I read something and I just go absolutely apeshit. But at this point, I try to just tell myself that when I see a lot of hate about me, I'm like, wow, this person is obsessed with me. For better or for worse, they are obsessed with me. Obsessing over my every move, and that kind of makes me, I get off on
your
that.
name every post dropping your name for some reason. But sometimes I'm so underwhelmed by weak hate. Like they think it's funny, but it's so weak and it's so pathetic. I just don't even. It doesn't even bear repeating or responding to.
Yeah, weak hate is better than strong hate. Because strong hate hurts.
I don't know, dude.
Strong hate is when they start telling the truth, and that shit hurts. Truth hurts.
It's so fun. Like, how'd you know that? Hey, and the last thing I'm going to say before I got to run, I got my breakfast.
You're not running anywhere. Okay,
so I got eggs. Oh, I got eggs, and I'm excited. No deal. But here's the deal.
Fuck you. Go on.
So I fasted for the longest fast I've ever done yesterday. I did 29 hours.
That's fantastic.
And I started to feel so violently ill. It was from the last I had eaten was before 2 p.m. the day before, and we were going past 7 last night. And I'm diabetic, so probably not eating that long isn't a good deal to mess with my blood sugar. Yeah. And I don't even really believe I'm diabetic. I believe they just started sticking me with insulin when I was intubated and I couldn't talk or refuse it. Yeah. And they weren't giving me food, so they were giving me insulin to regulate my blood sugar.
Yeah.
But now they got me on 55 units day and night. That's 110 complete, and it's a lot of insulin for somebody that the doctor said, you're pre-diabetic. You might be diabetic. My A1C was under 7. And then all of a sudden he put me on metformin, and now I'm a diabetic, according to them. I don't even believe it. They have right now there's a mix-up at the doctor's office of how many units I'm supposed to get every day, and they got to redial it back in, and it's just a disaster. It's all the work, just like the sleep apnea
Well, you're a
machine,
cash cow.
Like
if you're stuck on a medication for the rest of your life, you are a cash cow to big pharma. If it's a medication that you cannot go off of. And again, there are some medications that people need forever. Type 1 diabetics, they do need insulin. Their body just doesn't regulate it properly. But if it's a type 2 deal, and again, I'm not a doctor, and I'm sure people will remind me of that in chat, but of everything I know, that sort of shit is reversible if you start changing your lifestyle habits. So, anyways, I got to get going, Joe. There's a lot of people on the line. But I love you.
I got calls coming in. I'm busy.
Enjoy your eggs.
Thanks so much for your time.
And without your eel. All right. Bye-bye. Keep well. God bless. Hello, who's this?
Yeah, it's still from Jersey. I want to say the show's been going pretty well. I think you've been doing pretty good at hosting.
Thank you.
Running along. I just think the funny thing was when you missed the show. I had a couple questions because when you missed the show, I heard you calling in, and it kind of sounded like you was on a Bluetooth in a car. But I've done that with the boss before. Hey, the water's coming up to the hubcaps. The hills are coming up to the hubcaps. Oh, my God. So was it a gimmick or you was driving and water was coming up to the bumper? For real. I don't want no bullshit.
I don't think I ever said that the water was coming up to the bumper. I don't think
you were going like you were like the eels were coming up to Gus's, up to the doors. What happened? You were driving
I don't think I said that.
And where was the rain coming up to? How far did the rain come up?
I mean, I have a video of it on Instagram. You're not even waiting for me to respond.
You weren't even driving.
Okay.
I don't believe it because
you don't have to.
How far was the water when you were driving? You said I have to turn around. But the eels were coming up to Gus's hubcaps, the bumper.
I don't think I ever made such claims, sir.
Why did you have to turn around?
Because the cops were blockading Memorial Highway, which was the only way for me to access the BRN. That was the road to work, and I couldn't get there.
You didn't know what map you used. I don't know if I used iMaps. I don't know if I used.
I was on Google Maps.
You didn't know if you used Google Maps. You didn't know anything. You wasn't even in the car.
Okay.
Oh, look at you. They're coming to bed. Like, oh no. They know the gimmick. The gimmick's up. The gimmick's up.
All right. Thank you. Have a great day. Hello, who's this?
Hey, good morning, Anna. It's Steve, the grumpy old man.
What's up, Steve, the grumpy old man? Hopefully you were better than the last caller. How can I help you?
I hope I am, too.
Yeah.
Good Lord, take us out.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to say, as far as what happened to you with the eel, and I'm not trying to harp on you about this.
It's okay.
My father played a prank on us 50 years ago. My father put, and please don't look this up, he put head cheese in the refrigerator. I was 7.
Head cheese?
Don't know what head cheese is?
I don't.
Don't look it up.
Well, sir, you can't be telling me shit like that because now, it's like when when Bubba says don't Google me, head cheese. I don't even want to.
Head cheese is not fun.
Brown or a cold cut, something meat jelly. Okay. Yep. Is it just like is it fat? Is it gelatin? What the fuck?
It's pig parts.
Pig parts. Okay, separated pig parts. They just kind of scrap it all together. It looks like kind of like a fruit cake, like a gelatinous fruit cake.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it may
that's
taste
nasty.
good until you know what it is.
Yeah, that's pretty much my situation with the eel. It didn't. I'm not gonna lie. It didn't taste bad, but it fucked with my mind.
I'm sorry, sweetheart.
Thank you.
I've met you. You're just awesome.
Aren't
I love you. I think you're great.
Thank you for being honest. Okay.
And I'm sorry you had to eat eel because Lord knows if I would have ate eel, I would have probably barfed all over the place.
Right, and that's the thing is like it's a pretty adventurous food for just the average person. It's not even just me being Anna. It's a fucking weird food even for people who eat meat, fish, and other shit like that. Even they are like, ew, I don't eat eel. Like even Dan was like, God no. Lummy was like, God no. I was like, oh, ugh. And I ate it of all people. Disgusting.
Exactly. You got. Oh Lord, you got played. You got hurt.
I did, and I would like to collect my damages. Yeah, next time I'll be a bit more litigious, I think. But yeah, I really didn't want to be a Karen. I'm really not a bad customer. Sometimes people are just obnoxious. They find something wrong with everything. I'm not that person. I'm very easy to please. Just don't feed me fucking eel, please. That's all I ask.
Yeah. Let me read the warning label first.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Thank you so much for calling in, Steve, the grumpy old man. I look forward to seeing you soon. You as well. God bless. God bless. 813-90 Bubba. Very excited Very excited to go to Denver in a few hours. I think we got a great not housewarming present, a house guest present, someone who's hosting you. I think it's a classy thing to do to get that person a gift if they're really going out of their way for you. And what better thing to get I wouldn't even say a functional alcoholic, but just to get an alcoholic something than 3 bottles of Touch Vodka. Yep. Really, you got to know your audience. And I don't really know the girl whose house I'm staying at too well. Again, I met her on a brief weekend bachelorette trip. And the one thing I learned about this person is that they love and abuse alcohol. I saw it with my own 2 eyes, and I verified this information with almost everyone there. I go, is this like a weekend I'm having a party thing, or is this like a every day I got a problem thing? And it was the latter. So I said, perfect. I know what I will be getting her as a hosting gift of appreciation. Okay? So sad. I won't be on the air. Won't be seeing you guys till Monday, September 11th. Very sad. I will miss the mic. I will miss you people, even the ones that are mean to me. I love you guys. Thank you for calling in. Thank you to those that contributed during my show and all shows. And I will see you Monday, September 11th. Keep well. And of course, God bless.